Good afternoon, folks. Aaron Dorr here with Georgia Gun Owners. I know it's Friday in the middle of the afternoon and almost a weekend. But, folks, I have to take a moment here and give you guys an update on what we're seeing from Governor Kemp as he purports to fight for gun rights in the wake of Joe Biden's announcement from yesterday about his ongoing attack against our freedom. I'm going to pause here for a moment and let you guys get dialed into this broadcast. Again, Aaron Dorr here with Georgia Gun Owners. We've been talking for a long time about the absolute weakness, the lack of action, the patheticness coming out of the governor's mansion, coming out of Governor Brian Kemp. This year in particular, as all of these states across America are passing pro-gun bills left, right, and center, and this press release, this statement from Governor Kemp from, was it yesterday or today, is the most incredible, absurd, hysterical, and pathetic statement that we have seen out of the governor thus far. Now, to paint the picture here, this is on the heels of Joe Biden's and Merrick Garland's press conference, I think it was 2 days ago, promising all these attacks on our gun rights, regulatory attacks, legislative attacks, bureaucratic attacks via the ATF, any way they can to crack down on our gun rights. And in response to that, this is what Brian Kemp does. He doesn't call them back into special session to pass constitutional carry. He doesn't call on legislature to reconvene and pass SEPA legislation. No, Brian Kemp does what he always does. He hides in the bushes, his knees knocked together, and he puts out some BS press conference or press statement. I'm going to read this off to you. It's like 2 paragraphs long. It's all he can really string together. I'm going to make sure you guys can hear me okay first. If the audio is good, you guys make sure and let me know, just so I don't make sure I miss anybody here. But this is what Brian Kemp says. This is what Brian Kemp says after Joe Biden threatens to go, and attack our gun rights even more. He says, this administration and their allies are trying to use the nationwide crime spree of their own policies created to undermine the Second Amendment. Yeah, so far we're with you on that, Brian. He discusses their hatred of cops and how they've helped spike crime rates. Yeah, we're with you on that, Brian. We got you. But here's the punchline. Here's the laugh line. Here's the insult to gun owners all across the state. The last paragraph. As long as I'm governor, that nonsense will stop at Georgia's border. I won't give an inch on protecting Georgia's gun rights, and I'll always stand beside our brave men and women in law enforcement. So this is what Brian Kemp thinks is enough in 2021. He doesn't have to actually do anything. He doesn't have to actually pass the bills to protect our gun rights. He doesn't have to actually lead as the governor. In Brian Kemp's universe, all he has to do is do a press statement, do a paragraph says, that nonsense will stop at Georgia's borders. I won't give an inch on protecting our gun rights. Brian, you haven't done a damn thing. You haven't done anything. What do you mean you won't stop protecting our gun rights? You've done nothing. For 3 years, you've done nothing. But see, folks, Brian and his handlers, they think they can just sit here and say this BS and expect you and I to just say, oh, well, thank God we got Brian Kemp. Thank God we got Bumble and Brian. Let me tell you what real leadership in Red America looks like this year, because, across the country, red state governors, Red America, they're passing gun bills left, right, and center. So Governor Reynolds in Iowa, she said she would oppose Joe Biden's war on guns. You know what she did? She signed constitutional carry into law. Hell, Governor Abbott in Texas, one of the most moderate, rhino pieces of garbage, trash baller governor in Texas, even he signed constitutional carry into law just a couple of days ago. Tennessee, Governor Lee signed constitutional carry into law a couple months ago now. Governor Cox in Utah, I can't pronounce the governor of Montana, Giafonte, signed constitutional carry into law. All these governors fought like dogs to do things, to actually pass real legislation to protect their citizens. And, of course, we haven't even talked about the big one. Governor Mike Parson, Missouri, a leader nationwide in the fight for gun rights, just signed the Second Amendment Preservation Act into law 10 days ago. This is a sister organization of Georgia gun owners, the Missouri Firearms Coalition. This has been their fight for 2 years, and they just got it done. They just got it done. This bill I'm holding in my hand here is absolutely amazing, and it protects Missourians from every single piece of federal gun control because it does not allow Missouri peace officers to enforce any federal gun control. None. Not the current or future or previous existing gun control. None of it can be enforced by Missouri troopers, deputies, or city cops. So this is what real Second Amendment leadership looks like. This is how they actually fight to defend the Second Amendment. This is how they actually fight to stop Joe Biden. They get down in the trenches, they get their hands dirty, and do the hard lifting of making things happen. But here in Georgia, this is what we get from Brian. As long as I'm governor, I won't give an inch on protecting your gun rights. Brian, you've done nothing. You've done nothing. You're straight up lying. You're straight up lying to Georgians. You won't stop? Bro, you've never started. All over the country, we're being lapped in red America by governors who have balls and who will fight to defend their constituents and the Second Amendment from federal tyranny. It's all over the country. It's all over the country. But not here. Not here. Because Brian Kemp is either incompetent or a hyper moderate or somebody who simply cannot handle the pressure. And that's why it's time for Brian Kemp and the legislature to stand up and say, we're going to make this happen. Now, some pundits, some politicos, and some idiots are on our page, not GGO members, just the typical, Politico crowd from Atlanta. And they're saying, well, the governor can't do anything until he gets action from the legislature. That's pathetic. That's weakness. That's just ignorance. Everyone knows that the governor sets the agenda. The governor has the ability to call David Ralston and everybody else into his office and say, all right, boys, this is what we're going to do this year. That's what he does on his other pet projects, on the bills he wants to see passed into law. But when it comes to fighting for our fundamental freedoms, our basic human right to defend ourselves from tyranny, which is what we're seeing every day right now from the Biden administration, when it comes to the most basic human freedoms, Brian is either too afraid or too incompetent to fight for us. And he thinks that we're going to give him a pass on this. That somehow we're going to say, well, what are we going to do? It's a Republican. No, that time is gone. This is no longer Republican versus Democrat. This is no longer, Team R versus Team D. All we care about these days is who will fight for freedom. This is we the people versus the politicians. It is we the people versus the politicians. And we don't care what party they're in. If they're going to betray us, they're an enemy to our freedoms. It's just that simple. We're done. We've always been done, to be totally honest, here at Georgia Gun Owners. We've never, ever held to the party politic mantra. And that goes doubly true when our quote-unquote friends are betraying our freedoms. Brian Kemp made a promise. Brian Kemp made a promise when he ran for office that he would get this done. And for 3 years now, he has put a middle finger into the face of gun owners in Georgia, the very same people who put him in office in the first place. We all know it. We all know it. Now, Brian's people have been reaching out and trying to find a way to find some consensus. Some consensus, they say. Yeah, well, It's very easy. If you want consensus, if you want gun owners to give a crap about what you say, and if you think for a moment that you're going to have the support of gun owners down the road, then you better fight for us now. I can tell you right now, having worked in a bunch of states in the fight for gun rights, I can tell you right now that in Iowa, for example, gun owners are going to have Governor Kim Reynolds back for a damn long time because she fought for us gun owners in that state. In Missouri, gun owners are going to have Governor Mike Parsons back for a damn long time because he fought for us. Governor Lee in Tennessee will have the support of gun owners for a long time because he fought for them. You just go on down the list. Every single one of these governors. Abbott, it pains me to say it, the guy's a terrible squish. Governor Abbott will have the support of gun owners in Texas for a damn long time because he fought for them. You see how easy this is, Brian? Nothing about this is complicated. We want you to do your job, the job you promised to do when you ran for office and you asked us to put you in power. We want you to do your job and keep your promise. It's not that hard. It's very simple. It's very simple. And if you do that, guess what? Then all of a sudden, gun owners are like, oh, okay, yeah, Brian's on our side. But you've done nothing, son. You've done nothing to earn our support. And if you think that Georgia gun owners is like some old, tired, broke Georgia Kerry, and we're going to have your back or give you a pass or give you a freebie or some BS fake endorsement down the road when you've done nothing to fight for our gun rights, you're mistaken. You're mistaken. You're going to earn our support or you're not. That's it. That's it. So, folks, I need you to do a couple things for us to help us build support for these bills because this is, Brian Kemp, I'm going to post some comments in the comment section right now. Brian Kemp is doing us no favors, but the fact of the matter still remains. We still have to pass these bills, and we have to push harder and harder and harder and harder to get this to happen. I'm going to post a link right now in the comment section there. Just posted that. And folks, we need you to take a moment and sign these petitions and help us keep the pressure up on the politicians in Atlanta. We have a petition here for constitutional carry, which is very, very important, but also for our Second Amendment Preservation Act. We call it SAPA for short. This is perhaps even more important in a day when Joe Biden is trying to weaponize our own peace officers against us to enforce his gun control agenda. We need you guys to sign both of these petitions and help us keep the pressure up in Atlanta. If you're a member of GGO, thank you. If you're not a member of GGO, there's a link there also. Get involved in the fight for freedom today. There's nobody else who's going to do it for us. No one's going to come in here. No national group is going to do a damn thing in Atlanta. They never have, and they never will. It's just the way it is. They'll take your money, sure, but they're not going to do anything in the fight for freedom here in Georgia. So take a moment, guys, and sign your petition to help us keep the pressure on. Now, a lot of you are pinging us in the comment section right now about various candidates, and I know there's a whole bunch of them out there as we approach the primaries later on. So how this works, as it's always worked, GGO will do a candidate survey program. It's the same program we did 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was, when Brian Kemp was running against Casey Cagle in the initial primary. I'm reading some of the comments here. And so that's the way we can help you know where these candidates stand. Now, obviously, candidates lie. See Brian Kemp, right? Of course, he has one more session to prove himself honest, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But that does not mean that there's no value in these surveys. On the contrary, a whole lot of these people who are running for office may be overt enemies. We don't know until we actually survey them and can tell you where they stand. We're going to do that when the filing deadline is closed and begin that process. We'll then give you the results of those surveys so you know for yourself where these candidates stand. And if they betray us, well, we will hold them accountable for that, as we're doing in this broadcast right now with Governor Kemp. So, folks, That's what we've got right now. Take a moment, sign your petitions, share, please share these videos. Facebook hates us. Facebook hates you. Big tech hates all of us, and they're trying to quash our video views every single time we go on live. So do a video, share a video, help us get the word out, and make sure that Governor Kemp knows that before you figure we're on your side, boy, you better fight for us first. Guys, that's all I have time for right now. Share our video. Join gggo.com. We'll keep you informed. Thank you.